We were pleasantly surprised to find that the 2018 EAG International trade show was cram-packed with all kinds of virtual reality experiences. It really was the new hotness this year, as even a whole day's worth of seminars were dedicated to it. Over the course of 2 days, we managed to check out all the major players in this field at the expo, and I'm here with Murry Curry and Johnny Noobhead to discuss what we thought of them all. So the first VR experience we tried out was Hologate. It was probably the biggest one there. It had a massive space. I think it was like 25 square meters, and it was like this big 4-player shooting gallery kind of thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it stood out so much. We just went straight for it, really, before the crowds built up and got on there. And yeah, it was just a really impressive looking setup. It had Vives, I believe. As we know with Vives, with all current VR setups, they're wired. You've got wires all around you. You trip over the things. You can't move around with them. But they came up with a relatively ingenious way of getting around it by having each of the Vives is connected to a computer in the ceiling, but they're right up out the way. So you got quite a bit of freedom to your movement, despite the fact you are still hooked up to this thing.
All the wires are sort of like kept very tidy, and they were just sort of dangling from the back of your head, so you didn't even really notice they were there the whole time. You could move around if you wanted, but you didn't really have to.
Yeah.
But there were parts of that game, I think it was called Simurai. It was a co-op thing, wasn't it? It was 4 of us all shooting against all these different enemies that were coming towards our base. There was like a big dragon flying around at one point, and that had a sort of like Tron aesthetic to it.
It kind of reminded me a little bit of, kind of Japanese themed blood dragons.
yeah, I can see that. I seem to remember there was power-ups that would show up in the middle of a base, and you'd have to sort of reach over and grab them.
Yeah, had to spin 180 degrees, grab the item, turn around, and start shooting again.
And you also had to incorporate movements like ducking right down to the ground.
Oh yes, that was probably one of the best parts of the whole gameplay of it. I think it was about 5 minutes, wasn't it, the gameplay? But it felt longer than that, to be honest. The other thing about it is we were all hooked up to microphones, so we could chat to each other.
Yeah.
So it was almost like an online game, wasn't it? Like,
I think that must be how it was set up, because I'm pretty sure we were all on separate computers, so there was a LAN setup going on.
They've got some kind of LAN thing going on. And there was that point where this enemy came in with this massive laser, and I think we all physically ducked to get away from it. You really felt the scale of some of those enemies as well. When they were flying over your head, they just felt huge, didn't they?
Absolutely.
There was like those big Bomberman looking things, weren't they? They had like little antennae on their head that were coming towards you. And obviously, in the case of VR, when something's far away, you don't really notice it as much. But as soon as something gets right up to you, like, oh my god, it's like 100 feet tall. Yeah, I loved the communication aspect of it, where it was like, oh, there's someone coming up behind you and all this kind of stuff.
I mean, like I say, we jumped on it straight away because it just looked so impressive, and we thought this was going to be popular, and I think we were correct. I think people did swamp it. Yeah, I'd say it was a very sophisticated bit of kit that just worked.
There's next to no setup with it. You pretty much just put the headset on, and then they've got the 5 controllers hooked up to like these custom gun shapes.
The guns were custom made for the game.
That's right.
Yes.
They had like the 5
custom
controllers
molds
stuck in the middle.
Yeah. The 5 controllers sort of slotted into it.
It was so well as well.
Yeah, it was very well executed. I was really impressed.
One thing we should mention now is it looks like there are just no setups of this in the UK.
Yeah, most of them are in America and parts of Europe, like Belgium and Germany. I think they're actually a German company. So.
Right. What a nice treat to be able to actually try this thing that is very rare by the looks of it.
Yeah, at the moment, hopefully them showing this off at EAG means it might start showing up in more places. I mean, it's a massive setup, so it obviously needs a good space to put it in, but I really hope it does start popping up in places, because it was really impressive. I think in terms of multiplayer, I thought it was really impressive how they made it into this team-based thing.
Oh yeah, it's the sort of thing you're gonna want to go in with your personal friends, not strangers. So basically it's groups of 4. I don't think there's any more than that. Yeah, we were just very fortunate that there was 4 of us on the day to be able to take full advantage of it, really. And the guys at Hologate were very kind to help out with filming as well.
Thanks so much for that.
Cheers, guys. So check out Hologate if you can.
Go to the Netherlands or something. Or, if you've got lots of money, buy it.
Yes.
Buy one and let us come round.
So another one of the VR experiences that we checked out, another huge setup, was Virtuix Omni.
And this was another one of those things that just caught our eye straight away, because we've all seen the YouTube videos from many years ago where people were basically home-making their own setup where you run along on a little floor and moves around. So I think obviously these people with the emergence of VR technology, they've also seen these YouTube videos and thought, we'll have a bit of that. But they've been going around it in a very different way. There's quite an ingenious way of doing this whole setup, which is where you actually have slippery shoes.
So basically, again, it was 5. They had 2 setups, and you could have both 2-player games, or you could both be playing separate games at the same time.
Yeah.
But the actual thing that you're standing in is what really makes this one so unique. It's basically, it kind of looks like a baby walker.
Yeah.
like a man's one, I suppose. Man walker. Yeah. And you get into this thing. Well, before you even get into it, and this is where it sort of gets a little bit complicated, you have to have special shoes for it. Well, before even that, you have to put like they give you like these like bin bag socks to put over your socks, so you're not stinking up their special shoes.
Yeah.
And then you put on these shoes. They've got all different sizes, and they've got like these little white strips on the bottom of them.
So like bowling shoes.
Yeah,
but
kind of.
They're all slippery.
Yeah. Basically, the second you walk into this dome thing,
It's like a big bowl.
you get into this bowl. Basically, if you're not holding on, you're going to just like fall arse for tit, because it's incredibly slippery.
Yeah, they're like not silicon, but they're hardened plastic.
Yes.
It's plastic against plastic, and obviously, mate, I think the plastic's been treated. So basically, you're going to slide.
Yeah. So that's why they have the sort of the baby walker thing. It basically holds you into place, and you have to have like a harness as well, don't you? They like strap you all in. And
unfortunately, I'm a bit too big for their medium.
The standard size, as they call it.
Yeah,
I had the same issue. Yeah, they said
to
go and get the big one. It was really embarrassing because there was all people watching, and I was too big.
So you walk off and get the big.
Not only that, so like they sort of have to go under your legs and over your thighs, and just to make sure your legs are strapped on. But you know, a bit of warning would be nice.
The setup's quite intimate. Yes, it's quite cosy.
Yes, let's say that.
Yeah, and this for me is where it kind of falls apart, because there's so much setup involved. There's so much maintenance with this gigantic piece of kit. You need at least 2 people on it the whole time. So it makes me worried about how many of these, I call them units. I mean, they're just huge. Unit sounds like too small a word. Yeah, I mean, it makes me wonder how many they're going to shift. And it's not necessarily because it's a bad bit of kit. It's actually incredible. But gotta worry when you have to train staff just to man this thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have to.
That isn't even the biggest setup they sell. On their leaflet, there's like a 5-player version of this. And it's just like even huger. But yeah, it's just an insane amount of stuff and a lot of setup. I seem to remember when we first tried it out, you tried it out first, didn't you, Tom? And it was sort of at the end of the day, and I think they were just kind of getting ready to actually pack up and go.
So basically, I mean, my experience with it wasn't positive, but I wasn't going to put that down to the staff or the equipment being bad. It was an unfortunate set of circumstances where it's one of the most interesting looking things on the whole floor. Obviously they had people flooding in all day. The staff were weary, the equipment was certainly weary at this point. So I mean, I was disappointed because I didn't get to play on the kit properly. What happened was it started off with, you had these little sensors that go on top of your shoes. One of them wasn't working, so I had to switch that out. I couldn't get the walking right. It just looked like I was swaying side to side, and I wasn't. It was like I was walking through Marmite. I just couldn't. I just couldn't. Like, I had to sort of really give it some welly just to move forwards. And it could also be that the game I picked was one that they weren't too familiar with.
Possibly. The game was called Primordian.
That's right.
It had really nice graphics, didn't it?
It was a brilliant game. From what little I played, it was great. But I don't. It may not have been optimised for this setup. For all I know,
the game was sort of playing up a little bit as well with like the weapons set. It kept giving you a crossbow when you were trying to use a sword, and you were trying to shoot things from a distance like that giant spider, and it was just kind of flinching and not really doing anything.
Wouldn't die.
It was just like, oh, nah, bollocks. He just didn't want to know.
Then I don't know what happened, but the staff who were with me setting everything up just sort of disappeared and left me on my own. And basically I was just kind of lost, and my time got cut short, and it was a real shame because I was looking forward to it all day. But I should have got on there earlier.
No, don't extend.
How do I make this go away?
Oh boy.
It was a shame, but yeah, I mean, A, what little I played was fun, but B, it was understandable circumstances. It really was like the very end of the day, and just
We didn't give up on it, however, because on pretty much as soon as we got there the very next day, me, Andrew and Aaron jumped on it as well to try and give it another go and see if it work out better this time. And it was much quicker setup this time.
It's all like everything was charged up and ready to go.
Yep.
We got straight on it.
I'm jealous.
When we got going, everything was fine. Played Quell 4D. It was pretty much a original Doom clone. A bit more cartoony.
That was kind of the game that stood out for me because most of the games I had on there were like your typical zombie surviving themes, and they all looked kind of just like stuff I've seen before. But then I just saw this one called Quell 4D, which is apparently on Steam. You can actually buy this for your 5 and just play it at home. That one really interests me because it just had a unique look to it. So I asked them for that one. They were like, all right, whatever, because I don't think they'd even seen it. Like, I don't think anyone had picked it before. So they were just like, all right, we don't know this one. You're on your own. Yeah, it is basically Doom, like classic Doom. It's all sprite based, all the characters are, you know that thing in 3D games that use sprites where if you move around something, the sprite doesn't change. It just like sort of follows you around. Even if you kill one of the enemies and then you sort of walk over their body just sort of like goes underneath you and just sort of like hovers underneath you. It's really bizarre.
It was weird.
It's on my face! Oh, the sprite's on my face! Get off! Get off! Oh, one of the slugs. They jump on you. Shoot your own face, there you go. But the movement, oh wow, it was just kind of amazing actually. Best thing I could describe it is, you know when you play VR games sometimes and you have that entire scenery move and it sort of just makes your stomach feel weird? Because you're physically running and you're actually, well, I was physically running, I was really like belting it just to try and move as fast as I could in the game, and it was working really well. It actually felt almost like analog control. The more I ran, the more...
So you felt like it was kind of well configured?
Yeah, I think it was. It really felt that way. Because you were actually physically moving, when scenery was moving, it didn't make your stomach, or my stomach, it didn't make it feel like, oh, well, this doesn't feel like the whole world's moving, but I'm not. But in this case, it felt perfectly natural. It was really good. One thing to say, though, it was absolutely knackering.
I was going to say...
the way you had to run on it, it's sort of like, imagine yourself in an action movie where someone's sprinting with two guns pointing towards themselves. That's like the best way you could move in the game, just to like build up momentum. It's very, very tiring. And but after 10 minutes, you're just done.
Yeah, by the end of it, like I felt sorry for the staff because they got the VR headset off. It was just like absolutely caked in sweat. The controllers, I'm sorry, because the controllers will. Just,
I mean, I do that when I'm sitting down playing Skyrim and stuff like that. So I only had that small session, and you'll see in the footage. It came off of my head, and it just looked disgusting.
Yeah, that's the other thing that's a bit worrying about this whole thing. Not only are they going to be having to sort out the socks and the custom shoes, they also got to clean everything, probably quite regularly. But that game was really fun. One thing about the 3D depth that really startled me the first time it happened is when I ran into a wall. The depth of it made it feel like I actually hit a wall because it was so close to my face. It was like right up to my nose. I was like, ah! The setup, once they got it all working, I thought it was kind of incredible, to be honest.
It is amazing.
Like the way you can not only run forward, but you can actually turn around a full, 360 degrees. It just felt so natural. Probably one of the most natural VR things I've done, actually.
I can tell you one thing, if I had regular access to something like that, I'd lose a lot of weight.
Yeah, I know when the session ended, it actually tells you how many calories you burned as well, which is really useful. I think it was just barely enough to burn off a Twix bar or something, but I actually overheard one of the staff say that the 2-player package that they had there is about 40 grand. So I can see it maybe finding a place maybe in theme parks and stuff like that.
Maybe bowling alleys.
Places that are used to having staff around that can help sort out that kind of thing.
it's VR going in the direction that I want to see it go, and I would love to support it, but I worry so much.
If somewhere has the know-how and the staff and that to do it, then please do, because I really want to play this again. I'd love to try out some other games. It was probably one of the most fun VR experiences I've ever had because of the whole free running aspect of it.
I could
it
imagine,
really added so much to it. It really made you feel like you were in the game even more so than any other game. It felt kind of amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty much how I imagined VR when I was about 5 years old.
Oh yeah.
Just like, it is a dream machine, but really at a price.
Yeah, I guess so. If I had 40 grand, I'd maybe consider it. If I win the lottery, I'll find a room for it. Make that my exercising regime. That was really fun. I really enjoyed it.
What did you think of that?
It was great, but
it's so tiring, isn't it? Geez. Just run. You have to really pelt it.
I knew what to expect.
Sweat.
Yes.
Sweat.
See, Murray Curry's not the only one that sweats.
We all sweat on this thing. I think Aaron's all wrapped up as well, or being unwrapped as of this moment. Unleashed. Yeah, unleashed from his cage. We need to go to the Sega booth and get some Daytona water.
Yes. Well, possibly some Sega water.
We still have much more VR experiences to talk about, so stay tuned for our coverage of We Play VR, Emotion, and more.